Okay, I think we'll get started. Feel free at any time to go back and get more pizza or anything there. But we'll get started. Our main topic today is going to be holiday gift ideas, and I'll be presenting. My name is Tom Kreuzer. First, before we get to the main topic, we'll go through a few club status. Future meetings, our next general meeting is Wednesday, December 20th. I think on the announcement I had put December 10th, and that was incorrect. It's December 20th, and we'll be back here in the Baltic room. And the topic for that will be, my PC died, now what? And this actually happened to me a month and a half ago. My desktop PC, turned it on, nothing working there. So we'll talk about some troubleshooting that you can do. If you do have to replace it, what can you replace it with, and some setup tips, some general setup tips. We also have a Macintosh SIG, so if you have any Apple product, it can be an iPad or an iPhone or that, it's worthwhile attending those. And their next meeting is November 17th, and they usually set the agenda right before the meeting. Officers of the club. Our president is Jim Holman. Linda Brown is our vice president. Paul Ebert is our membership secretary. Mike Griffin is our treasurer. Stan Miller is our secretary, and Stan's in back there. Andrew Petrucci is our communication coordinator, and I don't see Andrew here. And my name is Tom Kreuzer. I'm a director at large. Members old and new, usually Paul's here. You can pay your dues. Make sure and notify us if you're changing your email. That's the way we keep in touch. Paul is currently out of the country. He'll be back December 13th, but if you did bring your dues or want to pay, you can drop them off with me and I'll get them to Paul there when he comes back. Suggestions for topics, if you do have any, you can email or talk to any of the board members, or if you want to volunteer to present. We're always looking for people that have some interesting hardware, software, whether it's at work or at home. And you can write a short or long article for our monthly newsletter also. Out on our website, we do post the slides and handouts. Today we don't have a handout because we're just going to be touching a bunch of different topics there and that. But the slides will be out there, and we do try and record the meeting. So the recording, the audio, and the slides will be available out there also. We do have a deals section out there. You can check that out. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a few slides. And our eBytes newsletter is also out there. We do a survey every year, and that'll be going out probably next week and the next week or two at the most. And if you could please take the time to fill it out. It is a long survey. I understand that there's lots of questions, but the questions help us figure out what some of the important topics are and how the club is moving along in terms of the hardware that they have and how they use their computer and stuff like that. So it really does help us out. And usually we give you about a month there, so we'd be asking for it to be returned by the 18th. Any club questions? Okay. The format today, we're going to be eating pizza, so feel free to go back and eat the pizza. Many thanks to Stan in back there, and then we've got Al Rivard and Jim Beardsley, and they help set this up and get this together. Stan picks up the pizza and does a good part of the work, so we really want to thank him for what he does there. I think Al. We Many hands make light work, and we've been pleading the last couple of times trying to get somebody to pick up pop, and unfortunately we didn't get anybody. But Al did bring in some water, so thanks to Al for bringing in some water. Otherwise, we were just going to we had some cups, and you were going to have it out of the fountain there. It's not that we don't have the money; we just need somebody to volunteer to take an hour or so and go out and buy the pop, and then you submit your bill and you'll get reimbursed. So it doesn't cost you anything. It's just the time to do that and to pick it up there. And usually in the past couple of times we've had Paul Ebert, our membership secretary, picking up the pop. So that was why we were asking for somebody new. But in general, like Stan is saying, this is everybody's club. We're all part of the club, and if you can help out a little bit, it's much appreciated, and makes these things go a little smoother then. I mentioned the PC website. We do have a deals page out there. It also has some tips on buying and rebates, and that's some information on there. The disclaimer down here is talking about just because it's an employee purchase plan, let's say for HP, because there is an HP employee purchase plan out there, doesn't mean that that's going to be the best price around. You do see prices occasionally at a Best Buy or a Walmart or a Sam's or different places that are cheaper than the employee purchase price. So whether they're lost leaders, getting rid of stock, or whatever, check around your prices and don't just assume that the lowest price is one of the links or stuff like that. This is from last year's survey. This we ask where members buy from, and it's been interesting over the years, some of the changes in where people are buying. Certainly, we look here, Amazon is number 2. 50% of the people are buying some of their equipment or stuff like that from Amazon. So over the years, that just continues to get bigger and bigger. Best Buy is still a major player, but some of these others have slowly diminished in their sales there. And you can look at the past surveys are out in the website in our past meeting minutes. There's an entire Word document that talks about the trends, has these graphs, and has all the information accumulated out there. So it's kind of interesting to take a look. This, I saw an article in one of the emails that I got, and it talked about 4 things to know about Black Friday. And this is getting to be more and more true over the years. Every day is almost Black Friday. Just because on any given day you can buy a Bluetooth speaker for $10, you can get refurbished Samsung Fit Gear for $129, you can get a laptop for under $400. You can get all these different things are available. There's deals and there's specials almost all year round now. Black Friday still brings out a much larger volume of deals, but the deals themselves don't always beat everyday sales. And if they do, they're often just a couple of dollars less than what you might get it for in one of these other sales during the year. This mentions don't get caught up in the Friday frenzy. If there's something you want to buy and you spot a great deal before Black Friday, buy it. If you miss a great deal on Black Friday, don't sweat it. Look around on the internet. Chances are you'll find a deal that's almost as good there. Here's another tip. Pays to do your homework. If you're looking to buy something, so in this case, if you're in the market for a new TV, you've heard that Black Friday routinely brings the best deals, and that's true for TVs. So when the big day rolls around, how can you decide whether it's worth standing in line at a big box store or at 4 a.m. or going somewhere else? So you have to do your homework on the prices and see what truly is a good deal there. This mentions one of the good places to start is there are sites out there with price history showing how the price has gone up or down over the last month or over the last year. One of those is Camel. It shows the highs and the lows of just about every product that Amazon sells. So if you're buying Amazon products, it gives you a quick look to see, well, am I buying at kind of the highest, or am I buying at the lowest, or the average? This will give you an idea there of what the price is. And in some cases, you may see a certain pattern that says it usually goes on sale in the summertime, or it goes on sale here. So you could plan your spending there. So look up some of these places there. Even if you're not buying from Amazon, at least you can see the high and low prices there. Yeah, and that's what this kind of mentions. Use Amazon kind of as a baseline to learn about the price history and what they're selling it for. And in some cases, the histories may have included refurbished items and that frequently improve the deal there. This third tip, don't overlook refurbished items. Black Friday, people are almost always looking for new products, but not new to the market, but new conditions. Refurbished can be maybe your best buy for some of the items if you don't need something that's brand new. Frequently electronics, because there's problems or failures or stuff like that, they get sent back to the company. The company refurbishes them, or a third party refurbishes them, and then they sell them as refurbished. In a lot of cases, it may be half or less than what the original product was. Apple products are a great example. Black Friday is often the one day of the year when Apple itself discounts some of its stuff, though it's often you only see partial good deals from the likes of Walmart or Best Buy, where they're giving a gift card, a $50 gift card or a $100 gift card, because actually Apple does price fixing. If you're not, they won't let their vendors sell it below price. So the only way that some of these companies can do stuff is to offer gift cards or add-ons and not reduce the price. But even these deals don't often match what you get for a refurbished Apple. Right now, I know a number of people that have bought iPhones, iPhone 6s and 5s and stuff like that. You can get them for $100 or less. So you can have an Apple phone and not pay $1,000 for the iPhone 10. So if you can get by with the features and functions of some of these older models and things like that, you can be saving yourself hundreds and hundreds of dollars there. This mentions seek out the leaked store ads, so that ads for Black Friday have already started showing up, and you can start planning or looking at prices there to see what are the best deals there and where you may want to go or what kind of price you have there. And this just mentions a couple of sites, and I'll mention a few others here also. Yeah, these are a few of the sites that I've used. My favorite is blackfriday.com, and let's just click on that. So this is the site, and it already has Sam's, Walmart, Kohl's, Amazon, Target, Samsung, Groupon's, these different sites. And when you go into the site, you can start seeing the ads themselves and start doing your planning there. So it just makes it real easy to start looking at and seeing what some of the prices are there. Okay, these next slides are going to talk about the 7 things that you should buy on Black Friday. The things that are usually discounted the most, and what you can get there. Televisions is the number one thing. And like I said, don't let the fact that you're 5'2" stop you from throwing that 65-inch HD TV over your shoulder. You can save hundreds of dollars on the steps. Laptops are the second most discounted item. Laptops are still popular even with tablets. Certainly they haven't gone away there. You can do an awful lot on a tablet, but if you're creating content or editing pictures or doing things like that, a laptop certainly may work a little better for you there. You may have a larger screen, you got the keyboard, and it works there. And it doesn't have to be a Windows. There's also Chromebooks out there. So depending on what you're trying to do, a Chromebook may work perfectly for all you're doing is working with your email and calendar and going out to websites and using, let's say, Google Docs. Well, a Chromebook's going to work fine. You don't need a Windows machine if that's all you're doing. Video games, there's lots of sales on video games. DVD and Blu-ray, certainly there's lots of those for sale, and now you're starting to see the 4K versions. So if you've got a 4K Blu-ray or DVD player, lots of people are upgrading some of their favorite movies to the 4K versions. Smartphones, lots of discounts on smartphones and that out there. Tablets are also popular. I mentioned here, like the Amazon 7-inch Fire, you'll see that that's available for $29. So if you don't have a tablet, buy a tablet. Yeah. Cameras, even though you've got camera in your smartphone, cameras are still very popular because of the quality. You can, for a relatively cheap price, you can get a good point-and-shoot camera, and discount on high-end digital cameras are also out there. So lots of things there. You can even go for GoPros or a drone. This is a list of the top 5 Cyber Monday shopping sites. So you know, not only do you have the Black Friday when you can buy stuff, but then the Monday after that has been known as Cyber Monday, the online shopping. But actually, the online shopping, some of them have started already. Amazon has its favorites that it's been leaking out, and you can order right now. So check out their section for their specials. Target is the second biggest one. Newegg is a very popular site. How many people have bought from Newegg here? Okay, so quite a few there. The gifts for the club picnic, Linda Brown purchases those, and those are all from Newegg. And those are a lot of refurbished items. That's where we can get $200, $300 items for $100 or $79 or stuff like that. So she purchases everything from Newegg there. Best Buy is another popular spot, and Walmart pulls in at number 5 there. Next, we'll talk. I asked for people to send me any suggestions they had for items, and this is a suggestion that Jim Holman sent me. And he had recently gotten this as a gift from one of his sons, and he just loves this. It's a Bluetooth speaker, and it's battery powered, built-in microphone, but you can see because a lot of these devices come out with new versions, so there excuse me, there currently is a new version, Oxy Studio 4, or I'm not sure how to say that, but what's that? Onyx. And he got the Onyx 3, and you can still buy the Onyx 3 from a number of places there. You can see the list price is $449. You can get it for $160 there. But lots of bargains to be had on speakers, and if you truly love to listen to music or stuff like that, you want to have a good speaker, and the speakers, you can really tell the difference between a cheaper speaker and a more expensive speaker there. This is from Linda Brown. Linda mentioned Bluetooth keyboards. And as you start getting more and more devices, whether it's tablets or phones, if you, they aren't the easiest to compose longer things, having a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse can make that job a lot easier there to navigate around and to get your entry. And they're starting to come out with more and more keyboards and stuff like that that'll also hold the tablet, so you can kind of turn your tablet into a laptop with a Bluetooth keyboard there. This is something that I had run into. I was talking to a cousin of mine, and they were talking about what they were going to do this Christmas, and what she was going to do is she was going to get the Ancestry or genetic makeup kits there. The kits from Ancestry.com or 23andMe or these various places, you can take your DNA sample and then send it in, and they'll tell you your ethnicity, the percentages, where you came from, and if relatives have also done it, they'll match you with certain relatives in other countries or in the U.S. That you may not know about either. So because millions and millions of people have done this, they're now building these giant databases where they can start telling who's related to who there. So it's kind of interesting there. The 23andMe, if you're not familiar, it has two levels. I think there's a $99 level or a $129 level that is just basic ancestry. And then for $199, they'll actually do your genetic makeup. And part of that genetic makeup can tell you if you're predisposed to certain medical conditions. So if you're interested in finding out if you're predisposed to some of those things, there's tests out there that you can do there. But just the basic ancestry is kind of an interesting thing to do, and if you've seen the ads on TV and stuff like that, sometimes it's surprising what your real ancestry is for what has been rumored or what you thought all these years. Okay, here's the actual Walmart ad, and I cut a couple of pages out of there. And we mentioned like TVs. TVs are always a big seller on Black Friday, and you've got, like in this case, a 40-inch for $125, a 55-inch 4K TV for $298. You just can't beat some of the prices. But if you're familiar with the Nest, this is the Nest thermostat, so that normally sells for $249. Here you can save yourself $50, and that you usually don't see the Nest on sale and that anywhere. You also see prices on if you're looking to cut the cord, cut the cable cord, going to a streaming service. Amazon Fire's $25 for that. Here you've got a Chrome, the Chromecast, $25 for that. So you can, if you don't have a smart TV that has streaming capabilities, you can pick up one of these devices and start using that also. I highlight this Wi-Fi router here because most people, if you haven't upgraded your router in the last couple of years, you're probably overdue to upgrade it, and you can pick up some of these more powerful routers for, this normally goes for $129. You can pick it up for $89, and it supports the 802.11 AC standard, and if you're doing more streaming and you've got more people in the house doing stuff, you want to have higher quality, faster speeds available there. Okay. This is some more of the Walmart there. You can see there's a combination laptop, tablet that detaches there, as low as $72, Chromebooks, even some of the Apple iPad you can get on sale there. So there's devices. There's a RCA tablet for $28. And like I said, if you don't have a tablet, I'd highly recommend getting a tablet, even if all you use it for is, let's say, reading email. Well, you can be sitting on your couch reading your email instead of back on your desktop or laptop or things like that. So, and having the bigger screen is it's certainly easier than working everything off of the phone and that. So tablets are very nice there. Here's some laptops. You'll see there's all different prices that you can get. One of the things, if you are going to get a Windows 10 machine, if it only has 2 gigabytes of memory or 4 gigabytes of memory, it's pretty underpowered there, and it's not going to be real fast. If you're getting a laptop, you might want to get a laptop with at least 8 gigabytes of memory there. The laptop that I'm using up here, I retired from 3M last year, and I was no longer going to have their laptop. So last Black Friday, I went to Office Depot, or Office Max, I forgot which one, but they both have the same sales there. I went there and bought this laptop. This is an HP laptop, 1 terabyte hard drive, a 15.5-inch display, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it was $299. So you can get a decent laptop for a discounted price. And you'll see printers down here in the lower right here. Here's a Wi-Fi printer for $19, an HP Wi-Fi printer. So if you don't have a Wi-Fi printer to use with your tablet or with your phones, you can pick up one of these. Now, HP and the other vendors will sell these fairly cheap because they make the money on the ink. The ink cartridges are going to cost you more than the $19 there, so they know that they're going to make their money back. Yeah. There's a small cartridge that comes with it, but yeah, you can pay $38 for a cartridge or stuff like that, and if we haven't had a session on printers, but I think we talked a little bit about them, and I put stuff in the e-bytes where you may have seen there's now, I forgot what the model was, but the model that has the ink reservoir. And so that printer sells for, I think, like $230, but depending on how much you print, you may not, if you don't print a whole lot, you may never have to fill the reservoir again. So, over the course of 3 years or 4 years or even 5 years there, not buying ink, you just save that. Yes, Ed?
I've seen some printers now advertised as being ink ready. Is that reservoir? Is that partial cartridges, or is that you don't have anything in there and you got to buy the full cartridges when you get up?
I haven't seen that. I can only imagine that ink ready means that it doesn't have that in there. Now, if we go back, if if we go back about 8 years or 9 years, actually at that time, Linda Brown used to give a presentation where she'd talk about her setup. And her setup was to you can retrofit a number of printers, taking where the cartridge goes, running tubing, and then running the tubing to an ink reservoir. Because really all it is just get the ink to the proper place, and everything works. And at that time, she was doing a number of weddings and other semi-professional stuff where she was doing a lot of printing, and so she had used this solution both for the color and the black and white to put in reservoir printing there. And that was mainly on the Epson printers, I believe she was using, because at the time the Epson printers were considered the best color printing and that. I'm not sure what it is now, but nowadays you even have people, my brother-in-law just purchased a color LaserJet printer for his home. The LaserJets have come down in price, and so depending again on how much you print and stuff like that, yes, the cartridges do cost quite a bit of money, but they're cheaper than buying, $30, $35 a cartridge there and going through those. So it just depends on what you're doing there. Okay. Here's Target. Again, a few things there. TVs are always big. You can see $649 for a 58-inch. Now, all 4K TVs are not the same. My dad likes to look at TVs or stuff like that, just say, oh, this is the cheapest one that's so big and a 4K. Well, no. The difference in quality between them, the refresh rate, how bright the LEDs in there are, how responsive the LEDs are, there's quite a bit of difference. So you'll see TVs that'll be very cheap, $349, and then the same size you could have spent $2,000, $3,000, even up to $7,000. Well, there are differences there. You just have to determine what you can live with and find that. It's like stereo equipment. If you're familiar with buying stereo equipment, you can get very inexpensive stereo equipment, and that sounds fine to you, or you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and you can discern the difference in quality and the tone and the response and everything there. So you have to find the right balance for what you're doing or that. Let's see. But you can see, like, there's the Amazon Fire Stick, $24.99, so you can get that. I also highlight over here, if you buy stuff on Friday, so if you spend more than $50 in the store on Friday, they're going to give you a 20% off coupon for one shopping trip that you make between November 28th and December 10th. So you get kind of a double deal there. Not only will you save on Friday, with some of their stuff, but you're going to have that 20% off coupon for a future sale. Here's another page. Again, I just highlight here. Here's a laptop there for $219. So you've got them all different prices. Here they've got some of the iPads, different discounts there. Here you'll see the iPhone SE, $99. So there are options out there. I get a kick out of this. These are the replacement for the old Polaroids, instant pictures there. Does anyone take any of the instant pictures now? Okay, we got one there. Okay. Yeah, I guess there must be a market out there for people wanting some of those, but it just seems to me this retro deal that yes.
I may be wrong, but I was removing
Yeah, there are a few different vendors out there that have printers for phones and stuff like that. This is all in one camera and printing capability. Here's some other items from the Target, and we'll just highlight a couple of them. What's handy now is that certainly you're seeing a lot more Bluetooth headphones, earplugs, so that can make it handy. You don't have to worry about the cord so much there, and the quality of the headphones, again, kind of like what we were talking about with the TVs. You can spend a little bit of money, or you can spend a great deal. There's quite a range in prices there for what you've got. And here's like the Amazon Fire for $29.99, the 7-inch model there. This is the larger model they have for $99.99, so even that's a great deal. Yes.
You're looking at the Echo, $79.99 is the old version. They have a new one for $99.99.
Yeah, so these devices certainly are going to be very hot this year because you'll see all these different varieties. You don't just have the Google Home and the Amazon lines now. You're starting to see these in a bunch of different devices, but even Amazon selling the Dot there, which normally is $50 or $49.99 for $29. So if you don't have one, it's just fun to play with it a little bit. Yep.
One below that $79.99 Echo. They now have a new one, better quality, better sound at $99.
Okay.
The Dot right here, you plug in using your own speaker or connect to it. It doesn't have to.
It has a speaker. It has a tinny speaker. It's not real good. It depends on what you're listening to. Again, now personally myself, I use it as my radio also. So I listen to KS95. I just say, Alexa, play KS95 radio. And it says, playing KS95. And the radio comes on over there. So that's why putting one in the kitchen or one somewhere else, instead of a little radio or that, you can do that. And again, the prices come down so much that that you can do just about anything there.
That's because you have kids for it. You ever ask it to tell you a story or sing a song, or answer a riddle? Does all that stuff.
Yeah, Mike Griffin and myself, I forgot how many months ago it was, we did do a little demo there, and Jim had brought in one of his, and we were playing with that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, there's thousands of things that you can do, ask it questions and do stuff, sports scores, things like that. If you have home automation devices, some of those devices already have tasks, so you can turn on the light, turn up the thermostat, turn down the thermostat. You can start doing some of that with voice commands, or even control your TV. Yes.
I was just going to say all those Echo devices, the Amazon devices, all include free long distance calling around the country. You can just give it a number, tell it to dial the number, or use your contact person. You get a phone for $29. We're also coming out with Alexa for your car.
Yeah, so there's a lot of capability, and if you don't have one, certainly the entry point is not that expensive. Now, be prepared. These devices are going to evolve, and in a couple of years, you're going to see devices that are much more powerful and stuff like that than what these current ones are. So, it's a technology certainly that's changing, but you can get some you know, benefit out of it right now and be able to do stuff there. These next slides I have, I got them from a couple of different places. CNET had listed items $50 and less that are new tech and that are kind of the best back to school stuff. And then there was another one from CNET on the coolest tech for under 100. And then we'll talk a little bit about cheap laptops. So here's an example of headphones, and these are wired headphones, but this is a good deal, under $50, $34.99 for a good headphone. Here's ear in the ear there, and again, you know, you can be spending hundreds of dollars, or maybe this is going to sound good enough for you. You don't have to spend the big money there. Bluetooth speakers, Jim had mentioned the model there, but even a cheaper Bluetooth speaker. And again, these Bluetooth speakers, if you have the DOT and want to get a better sound, the DOT has a cable or it has a jack. You have to buy a cable to jack it into a Bluetooth speaker or pair it with the Bluetooth speaker, and then you can be having a better sound quality than the small speaker in the DOT there. This is a portable speaker there that's also waterproof, and so those are handy if you let's say you exercise on a bike, do bike riding and things like that. You might want to have a better speaker with better sound. This is a little Power Light Mini, it's called. This is a combination. It's a light, but it also is a USB recharge. So think of it as a big battery there that you can plug in your smartphone or tablet and get additional power there. And this is the Echo Dot there, and we just saw that, you know, Target has it for $29 there. So this does have the capabilities. The Google Chrome, $35, but we saw it on sale for $25. This doesn't support 4K TV. If you want 4K, then I believe theirs is $59 or something like that for the 4K Chromecast. Amazon Fire, again, if you're streaming or doing stuff, they can be very, very powerful and nice to have there. Bluetooth keyboards, you can pair them again with your different devices. So like this particular keyboard, one of its features is you can pair it with 3 different devices. So let's say you have your smartphone and a tablet and another smartphone. Your wife has a smartphone. Well, with just one push of the button, you can switch between the different devices so that the keyboard entry goes to that particular device. This is like an MP3 player, and the reason they showed it in here is if all you're doing is playing songs and stuff like that, devices like this still have a use, and then they aren't draining your smartphone. So that might be a nice option there. Although I was doing that for a while, and then I went to Bluetooth headphones, and these don't support Bluetooth headphones, so I almost have to use my smartphone and use its capabilities there. This is the instant camera here, so you can see what it looks like. And the Fire tablet, again, this is the 8-inch, but the 7-inch you can get for $29. This is an example of wireless neck band earplugs there. Kindle Paperwhite with its capabilities there. Fitbits, haven't heard a whole lot about new innovation with them. They're just kind of, for the last year, they've just been kind of stable there. Things like the Apple Watch haven't taken off as much as they thought it would. But certainly for activity trackers or heart rate monitors or things like that, there's a number of fitness trackers out there that are getting better and better. Here's a little light bulbs that are controlled, the Philips Hue. And I don't know if this is supported by Alexa or not. Some of the models, okay, yes it is. So you know, you can kind of get kind of this starter set up to turn on a couple of lights in the house or stuff like that, and you can be toying with whether you want to go full automation or try some of these other things. The bigger systems come with hubs. They're called hubs, home automation hubs, and they support many more devices and stuff like that. So you can have both kind of a security system set up, a home monitoring system with the cameras, with everything in there. This is from PC Magazine. It lists the best cheap laptops of 2017, and you can see the prices there where, you know, again, laptops 5 years ago used to be talking about almost $1,000. Well, now you've got them starting in this list at about $279 up to $500. So there's some good values there. Now some of these, most of these, it looks like only come with 4 gigabytes of memory. And if you do want more memory, usually you can upgrade them. However, some of the models have used up their slots. So if you upgrade, you have to kind of throw away the current 4 gigabytes and buy, let's say, 8 gigabytes of memory. You can't just buy 4 and add that to your existing laptop. You might have to buy 8 gigabytes and replace the memory that is currently in the device. But again, there's lots of different models and lots of different capabilities there that you can work with. This is an interesting device, and this has Alexa, so this has the Amazon Alexa built into it. It's a giant ring about this big, and the ring, just like the Amazon Dot, when you say Alexa, it changes color. The ring changes color there, and is kind of a bigger novelty type of a thing there. But it also can light up the room there. It acts as a lamp, so it has the LEDs for acting as a lamp, but then also has the Alexa capability built into it. And you're seeing Alexa built into a number of these devices, whether they're TVs or cars or things like that. You're starting to see that stuff built in. This is an example of one of the newer gadgets too from Google. This is the Google Home Mini smart speaker. So this is a small little mini speaker there that you could put almost anywhere, similar to the Dot, and use it for its capabilities there. Questions, comments, other items that people have? Yes.
Google Glass.
Google Glass fell flat on its face. Google Glass was the goggles, and was supposed to revolutionize everything, get rid of displays so that you could be wearing the glass and it give the illusion that you had a giant screen out here. And had the camera built in, and you could navigate and select things by touching and moving your head, and I believe the last I had heard, which is probably a couple of years ago, about the only people really doing a lot with it was the Department of Defense was looking into it for heads up, kind of control of and that, but it never hit its intended market where everybody was going to be wearing this, and you wouldn't have to have the laptop, because trying to carry a tablet and a large screen, obviously the next step is to get rid of the screen, have it projected somehow out in front of you, and that's what these glasses were intended to do, was project it there. But it never really caught on the way that they would have liked it to there. Other questions, comments? Still pizza, so, yep.
Just the thing I saw last night over at Costco and thinking of getting one is just that you can replace electrical outlets that have 2 USB ports. Just kind of, it's always there. You're never going to lose it.
Yeah, the replacement or having USB ports around, since we have more and more devices that do need it. If you have the Bluetooth headphones or things like that, you have to charge those. You have your phones, you have the tablets. So having outlets around is very nice to replace outlets. Or there's a number of power strips too that have USB in there. When you buy those, I guess a thing to consider there is usually they'll list the number of amps that it is, and if your charger or your device supports the higher amperage, it's going to charge a lot faster. So if you buy let's say a cheap USB for one of these outlets for $7.95 and it's a half an amp, and it's going to take 4 times as long to charge than a 2 amp. So you have some differences there that you can watch out for. Let's see. Well, we'll start with Ed and back.
Watch, because there's 2 different ratings on some of these. It's the current, the amperage that will be supplied to each port, and the current or amperage that the whole device will supply. You might have a device with 6 USB ports, 2 amps per port. The whole device puts out a total of 4 amps. So
yeah.
You're not going to get 2 amps per port if you got all the ports filled.
Right.
You have to watch both those ratings.
Yeah, that's a good point there, because if you're going to have multiple things plugged in, you don't want, you think this is going to charge in 2 hours or 3 hours, and you're saying, gee, it took 8 hours to charge, or well, the reason is the other devices were sucking off some of your power there. Yeah.
Can you overcharge by leaving it on all night and all that sort of thing?
No, the batteries now don't build up the memory, don't overcharge. So the only thing that I'd mention there as a caution to use if you have a plug-in device or stuff like that. Don't be buying cheap knockoffs, which may not be sending out the proper voltage or amperage there. So there are cheap outlets, cheap adapters, things like that, which have been known to cause problems in some devices. But for the most part, you're pretty safe, and especially if it's a better brand name outlet or things like that. Yeah.
I was going to say a lot of Samsung devices and probably others also use fast charging modes. So they use 9 volts initially, and then it drops back to 5. So if you get an outlet, it's only going to give you 5 volts. So you might fast charging.
Yeah. And now you're getting more things too with wireless chargers, where you can just set it on the pad and charge too. But certainly there's going to be a number of devices around that are going to require plugging in a USB and charging up, and having at least a few of them around can save you hunting for a cable or things like that. The other thing I'll mention for the cables, I forgot where it was, if it was, I think it was Walmart. Walmart has like the Apple cable for $1.50. And the Android cable for $1.60. So if you're looking for extra cables, you can buy them there. You can also find the cables online, like on eBay or Amazon. It's just that some of those will take longer to ship, or if it's coming from China for $1.50, it's going to take longer to ship there. Okay.
Some of them are just batteries, and you just charge them at whatever rate it comes out. Others are circuitry built into intelligent circuitry. So when your phone or your tablet is charged, it shuts off. Charging, so it doesn't continue charging. Some of them do 2 or 3 quarts, but they don't give you enough amperage to charge something at a point in time. Those are cheap.
Yeah, the battery packs or things like that are kind of handy because you never want to be somewhere where you're completely out of power. So having one, I have like in my car and I have in my house a couple of different battery packs, and I make sure that they're charged and ready to go because you don't want to be somewhere. And
my power went out for the whole day, and I had my cell phone and battery pack, so I ran my cell phone off a small battery pack the whole day.
yeah, and I think at the picnic, Linda had picked up some solar ones too.
Those are the
Yeah, that I don't know how well those work. Maybe you have to live on the equator to keep a charge or something like that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, help yourself to pizza in back there, and have a good Black Friday, and yeah, happy Thanksgiving.